So I'm actually removing the old head there, and now I'm going to kind of do my last little cleanups on the bottom block. Just making sure that there's nothing in any of the cylinders, and then doing a little light wire brush to again clear off old gasket material, water deposits and residues from over time where it may have tried to escape, and just wanting to give this engine the love that it needs. Now I'm doing a visual inspection to look over everything, make sure there's nothing left over, and I'm opening up the head gasket, the new one, and making sure that the lettering is facing upward, installing it, making sure that it fits over, and there's a couple of places where you have to make sure it's seated all the way down for those nipples so that they stay on. And then here goes the head again. There's a couple times you just want to do a lot of visual checks to make sure you're not pinching anything or nothing's underneath. And then you want to, eventually after you make sure of those things, make sure that the head is seated well on the head gasket, and you want to check and verify. And now I'm starting to install some screws on to tighten things down some. Now I'm using the assembly lube around the studs, so it helps the seed that the bolts won't seize when they go back on. They may be easy to come off if I ever have to do anything in the future. And now I'm installing the washers for those bolts. Now I'm finger tightening down the bolts themselves. It doesn't have to be any particular direction or pattern, because it's just hand tightening down initially. Now I'm just further tightening things down by hand, and I'm setting, for the first time, my torque wrench. You see we have it at 17 pounds. And now we're going to start to apply the cross pattern method. And my hand tightening wasn't that good, so it took a second for me to tighten some of those down. I think now we're going to move up. And I believe that's 37 foot-pounds that now we're at. That we're doing the same thing over again after waiting a few minutes. Again, 90-degree turns just to tighten everything down. And then we go back a third time with 66 foot-pounds. And we do the same thing a final time. And now we're installing the exhaust back on, but we're going to put our exhaust gaskets in with the label, the wording facing outwardly again, as normal with these gaskets. It looks like I'm able to push that right up. One thing to note when you're putting back on your exhaust, just loosely put these on, but don't screw them on hard, because this bend right here is so tight that if you tighten it down, this bend will be too close to the stud and you can't get the nut on. So just kind of keep everything loosely fitted, and as you do, you'll be able to screw this back in appropriately
That's probably your worst one. This one, maybe that one's pretty bad too. But just get them all on first with their washers, and don't put it. Otherwise, you'll run into a clearance problem there.